Well, welcome. I'm Stuart Cohen, and this is the Power Hour. We've got a lot to talk about today, but Judith, before we come to you, I know you had said you wanted to share. I want to start off with a couple of slides. Now, forgive me if I don't give you recognition, you, the travel entrepreneur who sent me an email after our last get-together, our last Power Hour, and said, hey, Stuart, what if you started the Power Hour with some teaching, with some training, with a couple of slides? Now, I don't know if I'm going to do it every time. Sometimes we have such a huge packed agenda. Sometimes we don't, but it ends up becoming busy. But I have decided to start off today's session with a couple of slides, a couple of learnings, a couple of teachings. And then Judith will give the mic a shot here. I don't know why I didn't hear stuff before, but hey, listen, there's nothing above or below me to try. So here's what we're going to do, friends. I'm going to share this screen right now, and you should all be able to see that now. Cool beans. Welcome. And by the way, if you're here as a guest, I try to make it my habit to always reach out to a group of people who have expressed interest in learning about Group Sales Bootcamp, just to kind of see what we do. I mean, it's one thing that we have all the modules online. It's another that we do this every other week, which is the Power Hour, formerly known as the Ask Stuart Hour. If you are here for the first time, if you're here as a guest, let me know you're here. I'm not going to call you out. Not going to do anything other than just know that you're here and welcome you. So just let your fingers do the speaking, if you will, and just say first time. That's it. I just want to know that you're here, and I'm so grateful you've taken this time, and I promise to try to make this hour as potent for you as possible. So here's what we're going to do first, friends. We're going to start off with some tips about things that I believe you can be doing, you should be doing, you must be doing now to nourish 2020 groups. Now, I know some of you may be working on 2021 and beyond. That's great. Do you still think there's opportunity for 2020? Yes, I do. Maybe they're not the biggest groups. Maybe they're not the smallest groups, but the groups nonetheless, their business nonetheless. Now, why is this more important than ever before? Because people are saying that 2020 might be a slower year. The predictions are for softer sales when it comes to travel. It's an election year, and typically certain businesses have slower years during election years. Why? I don't know. Lack of confidence, but that's not for me or you to figure out why. What it is for us to do is prepare. So the choice is this, friends. You can either be reactive and, oh my goodness, as 2020 approaches, saying, oh, I don't have enough business on the books. And I know that when you're doing travel sales, how rare is it when you get a booking that's departing in a few weeks and the cash is around the corner, especially with groups. If that's your focus, your main focus, sometimes they're booked well in advance. So what I want to do is give you some tips that you could start doing right now if you haven't already started to make sure that you get a higher market share of business. Because what's going to happen, friends, is that if it's true, it's important we assume it's going to be true that 2020 could be softer, so that the pool of prospects is shrinking. So what you want to do is get more market share. I don't think it's going to be possible to convince somebody to travel if they have in their minds they're not going to. You can try, but it may not work. So why don't you deal with the people who are saying, yeah, sure, we're going to go, and here's where we're going to go, but we don't know yet, or here's where we're going to go, or here's where we don't know where we're going to go. We need some help. But I want you to be there first to get that business. So first we're going to focus on this group, groups that have purchased but not traveled. Groups that have purchased but not traveled. Hold on here. I need some coffee. I need a little coffee. Now, let me remind you that we can call this group clients. I give you permission to call them clients. Why? Because they've paid you. They haven't traveled yet, but they've paid you, so they're your clients. Now, if you've ever heard me speak before, seen me speak before, you know there's a thing called a client and a thing called an unclient. After they get back from their trip, you're done. They're done. They're an unclient. You can't call them client anymore. I know it's a bit of a twist, but I like to pinch you a little bit to get you thinking and not to get comfortable that all those people owe you anything like loyalty. You want them to, you expect them to, you pray they do, but sometimes hopes and prayers aren't enough. But right now, we're going to focus on groups that have purchased but not traveled yet. So what I suggest you do is, number one, commence an immediate reach out campaign, a reach out campaign. Perhaps you're comfortable that, oh no, it's booked, it's done, and I don't want to get back involved. I'm moving on to all these other customers and situations going on. Well, friends, as far as I'm concerned, these are your most valuable assets right here, because you've got the money in, you've got commission that you're already calculating, right? Do you agree with me? And gosh forbid you lose this business, they cancel because they're afraid of 2020 or for whatever reason. Man, that's painful, crossing out that income that you're already counting on. And you've also put, correct me if I'm wrong, you've put the most amount of time and resources into this. It ain't a done deal, friends, until that ship pulls out of port. It ain't a done deal, friends, until they get back from that resort. It ain't a done deal, friends, until they're back from their motor coach tour or whatever it is. So I want you to commence an immediate reach out campaign. And how do you start that conversation? What does it look like? What do you talk about? Well, if you have done this, good for you. You can do it again. If you haven't done it, do it now. It's called validation process. You know, sometimes people spend a lot of money. Maybe they are nervous about 2020. At the end of the day, they could be a little concerned, a little nervous that that they made the right choice, or didn't they? Did they underpay? Did they overpay? So what you want to do is validate that the choices they made are aces. Give them a pat on the back, say, you did great, we did great, this is going to be awesome. And I know sometimes you're afraid, oh, I don't want to get sucked back into information details, and no, these are your most valuable assets. They're your highest risk if you were to lose them. They're going to cost you the most. So you're going to validate the purchase. Number two, you've heard me say this before, I'm a big believer in supersizing. We talk about this a lot in boot camp too. Supersizing the booking, meaning if you still have space available, is there an opportunity to add one, to add two, to add three, to add four? And you know that simple question is, and it could be 3 months away or a month away or a year away from now. Say, hey, did you think of anybody you'd love to travel with? That's it right there. Did you think of anybody you'd love to travel with? Because maybe they didn't buy Judith during the group launch sequence, which we're going to talk about. Danny, we're going to talk about the email subject lines too. Okay, next is supersize the experience. You probably know what I mean by that. Supersize the experience means elevate the experience, take it from good, better to best. Maybe you were super successful in creating a package, which is what I preach in boot camp, because you never want to be selling the off-the-shelf, bare-bone, stripped-down product. What else can you add to, you know what's coming out of my mouth, reduce stress and risk, add value and convenience, right? So a safe question to ask is, hey, is there anything else you thought of that you'd like to do? There you go. Is there anything you thought of that you'd like to do? And maybe you've done some more research and you found there's a food festival, a wine festival, some kind of big deal going on in that port of call, or at that resort at that time, or in the neighborhood. And you suggested, hey, do you think you guys and gals want to go here? Because I can include that now. And you know that special dinner that you didn't want to pre-book? Well, you know, I found a bunch of restaurants. Why don't we get it pre-booked now? So supersize the experience, because it's also going to supersize your margin, your income. And of course, letter D, you want to keep the excitement levels up. Are you already doing this, friends? Are you doing this? Are you keeping people excited about the trip and eliminating, if not reducing, any risk of cancellations? Because that's going to hurt you the worst. Okay, now we're going to go to the next, and there's a whole bunch that I'm going to lay out. The rest I'm going to follow up with you in boot camp, but I wanted to put this out there to start off today's Power Hour session. I want you to focus, friends, to Nourish 2020 groups that are planning but not purchased. So these are groups that are in the planning phase. You're researching, you're developing, you're creating. Maybe you're in the price quote phase. Judith, in your group, you're past that point. You're about to do the launch. So you've got, hopefully, the group agreement letter signed with the group, and you've got the group launch sequence lined up because now it's time to sell to people and get them in, get them going, right? But this is before it's locked in, friends. This is, and I want you to know that these are not your clients yet, right? These are what we call shoppers. They're shoppers. I don't care if you're talking to them every day for the past 3 months, they're still shoppers because they haven't made a commitment. You cannot call them clients. And maybe they bought from you before, and if they have, they're still called what? Right, unclients. And this is serious stuff because this is stuff that's up in the air right now. This is business in the pipeline. This is valuable. This is gold. You want to maximize. So these are a very high opportunity. What I want you to do is commence and open the sale campaign. My friends, you know that I never say the words close the sale because that's the wrong way to view it. When you close the sale, it's a psychological thing. It's like it's over. It's ended, and it's not. It's just begun. You want clients for life. You want loyalty. You need more follow-up after the sale than even before or during. So you want to open the sale. You want to nail the sale. How's that? So now, I would like to say, if you haven't already done this, align timetables. Are they on a time? Look, some clients, you know this, they call you and they're in an absolute frenzy. They want to get it done. And so you have to know if they're at an accelerated level of speed, you've got to meet them. You've got to meet them there. And if they just can't, they're working, they have to coordinate or whatever, maybe it's only a once a week meeting. Well, then you've got to meet them where they're at in terms of speed. How often are you going to communicate? What's the expectation of you to deliver? What level of follow-up do they expect from you? Daily, hourly, weekly, monthly? What is it? Align timetables, and as important, set the agenda. You know we talk about this in boot camp all the time, that you are in this business not to take orders, not to process transactions. You're not a res center person just answering the phone and taking care of business saying, thanks, bye, done. No. There's a relationship here, and they're coming to you because they're afraid to do it on their own. They want you to be in charge. They want you, keyword, to take control. You need to display your leadership abilities now. Set the agenda. Mr. and Ms. Jones in the group, here's this week we're going to do this. And on Thursday, I'm going to accomplish this with you. On Friday, I'm going to make a presentation to everybody, get the board together, because I'm going to give you those details you want. I got to get my research done. And then in exactly 14 days from now, we'll be done. And we're going to go to contract. We're going to sign because we can't afford to lose the space we're holding. Whatever it is, you set the agenda, okay? And this is your reach out campaign to people who are planning but not yet purchased, and of course supersized. Big believer in this, friends. Why aren't you? They can call and say cheap, deal, value, and some of them, that's all they're going to take, that's all they're going to buy. But are they really going to be happy? Are you going to let them go and strip down off the shelf bare bone product? Of course not. They're going to come back disappointed. So you're going to offer good, better, best opportunities, good, better, best options with your beautiful, magnificent, more inclusive package, keywords. And then finally, you want to build momentum. You want to build momentum. Friends, if you're the one it's letting too much time go by, if you're the one that got busy with somebody else, then guess what that client or that shopper is doing? They're shopping. They have no patience. They're hot. to trot. They're ready to go. Their credit card is out as soon as you've got the right product, you got the right price, you got the right place, and you got the right promotion. All those fours, the 4 Ps, if it's right, and if you're the right agent, naturally. But you need to build that momentum, keep it going, and never run the risk of giving them a chance to shop around, because my goodness, these days everyone has a family with a travel agent in it, right? So it's up to you to never leave a gap, never leave a hole, never leave space, never leave time for them to bail on you. You don't want to give them that reason. All right. Now, as far as I know, you should just see me, right? All right. Let me just see if we have any questions or comments from our studio audience. We've got a great house today, and I want to know also, my boot campers, do you like this start? You let me know. I can alternate. I can do it like this all the time. I can do it at the end. Normally, this agenda is all yours. So I want to make sure I'm training stuff that you want, that you need. So Karen, I know Karen is talking about South Lake travel. You want, in the worst way, me to do something in Memphis, and I do too. I'm right there with you, Karen. I'm going to try. Two things I'm working on is an actual group sales boot camp live at a destination, and that's for people who are not yet in boot camp. Okay. They're not in boot camp yet, but I also want to do like a mastermind. I'm going to call it a group sales success retreat with boot campers, so that we can dig down and we can deliver. We can go even farther than we do on these calls. So we're together in a smaller group setting. I am working on that. I promise you. Okay, so Nana's got questions. Jean's in the house. Hey, Jean, thank you. It's fun to spend time with you as well. I appreciate that. Sandy, you're a guest, but not a guest. That's funny. That's good. I'm glad you're here, Sandy, my good friend. Janice, your first time here. Welcome. Appreciate that. Okay. Garrett's here first time. Cool. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So let me go back here. What do we want to do first? Oh my goodness, there's so much going on. By the way, we started late today because I was at University of Memphis teaching a class. I gave a 40-minute presentation, a lecture on social wellness. And it was really, really fun. It was pro bono. I did it free for the students. My friend is like an adjunct professor there, and it was super cool. All right. So Judith, I got your question there. So Judith, I don't know if this is going to work, because something may be wrong with the audio situation. Judith, I'm going to try to unmute you. Hold on there. And one second here, audience, dashboard, attendees. We're going to give it a shot, friends. Hang in there with me. Hang in there. Unmute. All right, let's see if it works. Judith, go ahead and say something.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yay.
Yay. Let me just see something. I'd say something right now. Say something.
I love the new sideburns.
Oh, thank you. Good. Now they're coming through the headphones. Now we're golden. Hey, thank you. Everyone's like, why? What are you doing? Are you trying to be like Elvis? I'm like, no. So they're like, why are you doing it? I said, because I can. It's just having some fun. But thank you, Judith. I appreciate you. Your words. All right. So what's on your mind with group launch sequence? What can we talk about today and inspire everybody else on the call as well?
Well, I have been to the live boot camp in Cancun, and I have been on the website and gone to the global sales summits online. And what it boils down to is I'm a big fat chicken, and I'm terrified to do this. And I have been one of those people that have been procrastinating doing this because I'm afraid I don't know enough. I'm not prepared enough. And so I'm doing the group launch presentation number 1 today. Now this is more like your river cruise in that it is not an outside group. It is a perspective group.
Okay.
So it is basically like a literary tour, but it's a film TV based tour.
Okay.
To going to film sites. So it's like a fan trip.
Okay. Very cool. Now, so you've sent out invitations and people know
I sent the
that,
save the date, and then this morning I sent out another blast that said, join me at 4 on Facebook Live. I'm going to do the first presentation.
beautiful.
And now I'm
And
scared.
of course you are. Of course you are. So the first thing I want to tell you is acknowledged. I get it. It's natural. It's the majority of us, the population, are completely terrified of public speaking. So that doesn't
Well,
make
that's
you
not
feel
what
any.
I'm afraid of. That part's
Yeah.
easy.
The information. So let me, so that's good. That's really good. So my real point here is that don't sell yourself short. You've been in this business how many years?
On and off for the last 7, and then before that, I had 3 more before my daughter was born.
Okay,
So 10
beautiful.
altogether.
10 altogether, and in that time, because it's really not about the measure of the quality of you as a travel entrepreneur is not measured in time, it's measured in quality. Have you sent people and potentially groups out? They come back happy?
I have
you done
not
it?
done a group before. I mean, I have one right now, but it's just a little
Okay.
4-5 cabin family group.
Mhm.
But I do mostly custom FIT to Europe.
So what I'm hearing, custom FIT, everybody listen to this. Judith does custom FIT to Europe. A lot of people don't take that burden on because you need to be highly skilled, takes a lot of research. You need to know your stuff. There's a lot of moving parts. So you have a skill set, Judith, that many agents don't have. So I want to acknowledge that. What I want to tell you is that first of all, I'm giving you permission. I'm giving you permission to shine. You're going to do great. And I'm glad you agreed to turn your mic on because maybe this will be a little practice. It's like taking the stage before you're on, like a dress rehearsal. That you're talking here, you got millions of people listening to you. Not true, but it just sounded cool. And what I suggest you do is not read off a script, but have your bullet points, have your agenda set so that you never lose your place. You stay focused. And let me say this too. The most important words are the first words that you speak. I have seen countless speakers. They could be executives at companies, presidents, CEOs, right, whatever. And when they get on stage, all of a sudden, when you see Facebook Live go live, there's like this look of panic, and people will make a little bit of a judgment call then, and that sort of sets the stage. And you may build up speed and regain your confidence. But what I suggested you do is not only have your bullet point list ready, have a clock like I have, my clock right there. So you get in, you get out as promised. You never want to start late, right? You never want to take them too long. And have your first thought. It doesn't have to be written out. Have your first sentence in concrete. When I spoke this morning at University of Memphis with the students, I had 40 minutes. I had about an hour's worth of material. I knew I didn't have time to mess around and improvise because that's just what I do. I knew the first sentence I was going to say when I stood up. And that sets the stage for you. You feel confident that they're welcomed in. And you know what? Sometimes, Judith, it's just starting off with gratitude. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I am so grateful you're taking this time today, and I promise that every minute I'm going to give you some information and share. And if anything comes to mind while I'm speaking, go ahead and type it in. So you're going to kind of play my role here, Judith. You're doing this, and if it's distracting to you to field questions while you're speaking, don't do it. Say you'll do the follow-up. So I'm going to pause for a second. Tell me your thoughts, and tell me if there's another area I can focus on. I'm going to see if anybody else has any thoughts to share with you. Perhaps they've done this and been down that road before.
I would be so happy to get as much input as possible. I think that that's a great idea. I did watch your Christina presentation one, and I am paying homage to it liberally by borrowing some. I borrowed the agenda and I'm going with a similar sort of thing. Why I set up the trip, 5 reasons why you need to come with me, what's included, important dates, and Q&A.
Okay, so Are you doing multiple information presentations or just this
Yes,
one? Good.
4.
So, okay,
And I'm
beautiful.
gesturing to my computer as if you could see me.
Next time you put your camera on. So one thing I want, it's just a bit of caution. In as much as you're excited to share all this amazing information, don't overwhelm people. Keep them in the state of intrigue. In other words, say, oh, and one of the ports, oh, you're gonna have so much fun, it's gonna be so exciting, and we're gonna talk about that next time. Tease them, right? Just like you're watching a TV show and oh, it ends, but you'll have to wait till next week. So don't think you need to overwhelm everybody with so much information at first, because let them absorb it in bits and bytes. Okay, just like I did with the river cruise. Now that's a very complex trip, a river cruise, and you just want to start off in bite-sized pieces, because if you lose anybody in the forest, then they may not show up the next time. So take it slow. If you have to pull out anything that you feel is jumping the gun, like prices, certainly you don't want to reel prices to the very end. You know that. And just take a slower approach, knowing that that they're going to appreciate that. People can't take it all too fast. They have to process it, but you want to pique, P-I-Q-E, their interest. Does that help any?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do.
That's not my strong suit. I'm definitely an oversharer.
Okay.
So that's going to take practice.
Yeah, it will. And the practice starts later today. And it's always a journey, Judith. Whatever you do today, you're going to get better at it tomorrow. And you're going to get better at it the next day. I look back on my stuff and whatever, last year, 3 years ago, 5, I'm like, oh, wow, was that me? Look how I do it today. It's always a journey. So give yourself grace. And I'm going to leave you with one more word, then I'm going to put you on mute, then we're going to go to more questions. We got a lot of people typing in. It's very exciting. I'm so grateful everybody's here. Is have fun. Fun. Have fun. Make it fun. When it comes to a vacation, it's fun. If you're talking about taxes, I don't know. And if anybody here is an accountant, no disrespect meant, but I don't know how you make that fun. Vacation is fun. So big smile and just go and having fun. Make believe, Judith, that you're speaking from the destination. Because when we go on vacation, we go to these places and our toes are in the sand. We're sipping the margarita. Life is good. We got the cocktail with the umbrella and the glasses, and how cool would it be if we could sell with that same level of enthusiasm and energy and excitement and sincerity when we're stuck back in our office and it's 200 degrees out, or it's a snowstorm or a hurricane. All right?
Yes, sir. That's great stuff.
Good. Thanks for being courageous and putting your mic on, Judith. I appreciate you. Good luck, and please keep in touch and let us know how it goes.
I will.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
All right. I'm gonna put Judith on mute. All right. Cool beans. Good stuff here. Let me see here. Let me get to the next one. Okay, Nana, I've got you up next, but first I want to take this on, folks. Danny had questioned me about subject lines in emails, right? When you go to send an email, even if it's a one-on-one email, let alone an email campaign, that subject line could make the difference between it being opened or not, And Danny, there's no science to it, but there is an art to it. And I'm going to tell you what I do, because I don't know if I'm great at it or not. I don't know. You look at your open rate and I don't know, am I doing well, or I don't know. So here's what I do, and here's what I suggest you do, and everybody else watching. And if you have your own secret, please share it here. But that subject line could make the difference between somebody opening it or not. They delete it, it either intrigues or it falls flat. And if it comes on too strong, if it's too salesy, and they don't know who you are, they're just going to delete it, and they're going to unsubscribe. It has to be personable, especially in your case, Danny, because you're sending it to specific people. It's got to be personable. And so what I do is I have a folder in my computer, my inbox, where whenever I get a easy for me to say, a solicitation email, and I love the subject line, I put it in there. So before I do a campaign, whether it's Scoop Sales Success Summit, or whether I'm doing a webinar, or I'm just saying, hey, everybody, there's a power hour coming up. I want you to sign up. I want you to open it. I go back to that folder, and it's already done for me. I pick one that works. Honest to goodness, that's what I do. Now, there's no guarantee it's going to work, but if a guy like Brendan Bouchard, if a guy like Jeff Walker, I'm on so many lists. If they use that as the subject, I'll rip it off. Now, there's part 2 to this, and then we're going to move on. Part 2 to it is, when you get the email in your inbox, and sometimes you get a preview, right? Most people don't maximize, leverage the preview. Sometimes, if you know what I'm talking about, it'll say there, if this email isn't appearing correctly, you click this URL in your browser. What a waste. So when you're sending an email, make sure, in your case, it's one-on-one, friends, Danny, in your case, make sure your first sentence or two is compelling. Use their name. Okay, and even so, the spammers will still somehow get your name and use it, but make it compelling so that that preview sentence is as important as the subject. And of course, if you're doing a blast campaign, MailChimp or whatever, you can set that in advance too and preview it. Okay, so I know we could talk all day about that, but I thought I would tell you what I do, because I don't have the answer other than I rip off all the super successful people thinking, hey, I'm going to do what you do, and some of that success can rub off on me. Okay, I hope that helps. Nana says, hi, Stuart. 8 years ago, I booked an auxiliary hospital group of 80 on a cruise, and I did a really bad job. So I want to stop there right now. Everybody, you listen to this. I want to acknowledge that Nana is being courageous here. Sometimes we succeed gloriously, sometimes we fail miserably. And by acknowledging it, bring it forward, knowing we got to fix it, we got to be better at it, that's growth. That's growth. So thank you for saying that. I want to approach another hospital nearby to do a fundraiser trip. Should I tell them about the other group, or what do you suggest I go about it? So here's what I would say, Nana. If you talk about the other group you've done and you reference the name of the group, and I'm the potential client, I might call for a reference. Hey, who is this Nana person? How'd she do? Now, if that's a risky situation, then you want to minimize your risk. I understand that you want to be bold and courageous and use that as a testimonial, but you don't want it to backfire, right? Now, if you just simply say, I have a prior client, and don't reference who it was, and I don't know, maybe you can get away with just saying it was a client I work with in confidentiality, then perhaps you can do that too. But or you can just mention some of the successful things you've done, and you don't have to tell them, hey, I did this last time, it bombed, but we're going to do it different this time. So you're going to say, here are the things we're going to do to make it a big success, and only you know that 50% of those things you did wrong or could have done better the first time, but you didn't know. And you give them the list of all the good stuff without referencing it. And you can say, here's what I have learned, how to make a hospital group fundraiser uber successful. That's what I would do. I hope that helps. Let's see what else. So Nana said, do I meant telling about the mistakes or not? So Nana had a follow-up. So you know what? I don't think you need to. As long as you know in your heart of hearts, you're not going to make the same mistakes again. And you can deliver it exactly the way I just said, which is, here are the 10 most important things that I'm going to do for you to make your group successful. And again, you're going to list the things you messed up the first time that you're going to do beautifully the second time. And only you'll know it. Sam is back here at Travel Good Company, and Sam had sent me an email too that out of the blue she was invited to speak on a panel that's a couple hours away from her home. She doesn't live there anymore, and she was shocked and blown away and surprised that she was invited to be in a panel with these other big shot entrepreneurs and leaders in the community. Should she do it or not? Should I tell them, hey, these are Sam's words, right? You got the wrong gal. Are you sure you want little old me? And you know what I said, Sam, right? I said, little old you. Just because all the other speakers and everyone else in the panel, they have big titles. Who cares? They could be exactly like you. A big small business. I'll say it again. A big small business. Because Sam, that's what you are. Everyone on this call right now, you're either just starting out or you're already there and you're a big small. I hate the word small business. Don't undersell yourself, Sam. Obviously, they saw something in you they want. And I sure hope you called them and accepted it and go do your stuff. That's bragging rights. That's bragging rights, my friend. That you were invited on a panel, you're going to take some pictures, so forth and so on. Sam just said, I just sent you an email that comes under the heading, you never know. I recently completed the Tourism Ireland Specialist course. Afterwards, I posted this accomplishment. Listen, everybody, on Facebook and LinkedIn. Emailed it, sent out postcards. Yay. I got great response. Asked me if I was going to do another Ireland group next year. Could I include Scotland? So far, 13 people have sent in a $25 plan to go refundable check. I want to stand up and do the happy dance for you now, but I'm going to rip the headphones right out of my ears. This is beautiful stuff. Everybody be inspired. Sam went for training. She told the world about it, spread that good news, and look at that. She wasn't selling anything but herself, but her accomplishments. This is beautiful. Okay, and for a Scotland Ireland tour next June, I haven't even planned yet. That's inspirational. It's a beautiful story, Sam. Congratulations, best of success with you. And I don't know if some of you saw my posts. Where are my postcards? Oh, here they are, back here. Oh, this one. Of course, this one was a returned one. But I'm on a personal campaign to make sure my 2020 business isn't solved. I want to have an awesome year next year. So I'm doing a postcard campaign. Every day I'm committing to at least one postcard. Can you do something like that, friends? Karen says, meeting with restaurant owner tomorrow for our group tour to Tuscany next May. He is hosting a wine tasting dinner in September for 65 people. And she's excited. You have every reason to be, Karen. Look at this. Look, things are happening, friends. I love when there's activity. Karen is being proactive here, and she's got a meeting with the restaurant owner for the group tour to Tuscany that's going to go next May, and he's hosting this wine tasting dinner. So now you're going to get an old thing set up and get the group launch sequence and get that group agreement letter signed, just like we talk about boot camp, and follow the process. Kyle, thank you. Kyle said he likes the start with the slides. Cool beans. Daphne said she loves it. Cool. I'm glad. Julie said she loves it. Very good. Ramona says, count me in for your boot camp or retreat. Awesome. Group sales success retreat. I'm planting the seeds. Kay said, I have a group set up, but the supplier has printed great brochures for me. How can I add something they don't offer and not in their trip brochure? Once I get booking, should I then add extra as an option for the clients, like the wine festival or a special restaurant? So in this case, you've got the benefit of having the supplier print up beautiful brochures for you. But apparently your ability to customize them is limited. So you can't put the value adds. You can't put the more inclusive package. So it's a simple choice. Either if there's no way they can do it, maybe it's too late, then you have a little slip in, right? And that slip in could be a full 8.5 by 11 sheet, or maybe it's a little page like this, you cut in half or half cut for you, or maybe it's even half of that, you know? You have a little slip in. I think that's cool. And you know what? If you position it, Kay, not that, oh, sorry, I couldn't get this in a brochure, look at it as a positive. Here's great news, great news. Here are some extras. Here are some specials. This will be part of the package. I think there's an opportunity there, friends. And UK, I hope you can rock with that. Karen had a comment to Judith. Judith, that's how I started my culinary group. It was everything I did for my FITs, but for 12 to 15 people. After I found my chef, it was easier than I thought it would be because all of my FIT experiences. I'm really good at creating itineraries, so that's all I was going to do for my first group. So that's a skill set, doing FITs, friends. It's a skill set. And I applaud everybody's efforts. Kyle says, suggestion, take time just prior to giving your presentation to program your mind, body, and confidence in a positive state. Remember to smile. Kyle is sharing that with you, Judith, and everybody else before you make that presentation. Take time just prior to calm your mind, your body, get that confidence level up, and put it in a positive state. And friends, that's great stuff, Kyle. And for me, I'm a professional speaker. And if you don't think I don't get nervous, you're crazy. And I need to get nervous because it gets the adrenaline flowing. Then when I'm up on stage, the endorphins are popping. The dopamine is going through the roof. I'm nuts. But you got to gear yourself up and be focused. And I do a little prayer. I don't say a little prayer. Hey, do good, Stuart. Do good. No. I say, hey, may the words come to me that they need to hear. May I say the things they need to hear. And I did that this morning with 2 groups of students when I did that lecture. It was so much fun. Kay said on Facebook Live, is it best to offer only one item each time? Yeah, so in this case, Kay, the Facebook Live is the group launch sequence. Now, if you're in boot camp, if you'll remember, I did a group launch sequence and I recorded GoToWebinar and I loaded it up to YouTube. If you don't have GoToWebinar, it's an expensive tool. Unless you're going to use it regularly, you may not want to spend the money on it. But Facebook Live is a fantastic option. Now, of course, you can't go back and do any editing of it. It's live, but I don't know. Did you all see that little video I put in about me putting postcards in my mailbox? I put that on Tuesday. And I goofed. I stumbled on my words. You just go with it. We're human. Make a joke out of it. Have fun. Have fun. Karen said, I like training at a start the meeting too, so you'll like that as well. Kyle has another tip here. For Kay, if you can put your extra letter into an envelope and include it, write a teaser on the envelope and have them open it last. Kyle, that's a great idea. Listen up, everybody. What Kyle's saying is you can even take it to the next level. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise, Kay, that they weren't able to customize that brochure for you, because now you can make a big deal about it. You can put the note in a sealed envelope and say, open when you get home, or surprise inside, or this just in. Okay? You can really work this to your advantage. Thank you, Kyle, for sharing as well. All right, I'm going to go back to my notes here. So, friends, we have exactly 15 minutes left. So stick with me. I've got a list of stuff. Why I wrote it on a tiny pad, I don't know, because I can't read my own handwriting. It's a problem. But please go ahead and start typing in your stuff. And if you want your mic on too, please tell me. I'll be happy to do it. Kay said, thanks for the idea of the envelope. That goes right to Kyle. Thanks, Kyle. Really cool. All right, we talked about email. Okay. Let me think here. Yeah, I did this social wellness lecture to the students, free, University of Memphis. Soon you're gonna, if you're Facebook friends with me, on my personal site, I'm going to post a picture and thank University of Memphis and the students for allowing me to come in and share this with them. I'm going to leverage that. I'm going to leverage it. Maybe there's somebody out there say, oh, hey, Stuart, I didn't know you do social wellness. Can you think you'd come do it for us? And it's a paying gig. You see what I'm saying? Now, I didn't do it for the paying gig. I did it because I wanted to give. I love giving back to my community. It's great practice because I'm on stage next week. I'm going to be in Columbus, Ohio at a sales expo for Travel Leaders Network. And it keeps me in the groove, man. It keeps me warm. So when I get up on that stage, I'm not cold. Okay. By the way, coming up September 19th, we're going to go back to our regular time, 11 to noon Eastern. Sorry about this one. I messed up on Facebook. I forgot to put the right time. We're back on October 3. On October 17, you will be treated to a guest host, my friend and yours, Mike Marshev, because I'm going to be on a ship doing some gigs, some keynotes, and Mike Marshev has agreed to step in and facilitate this session, the Power Hour. October 28th, we're back, and then November 19th, we're back. So make sure you sign up. I'll see you there. Okay, we talked about the postcards. Okay, I want to bring this up. Leslie, who probably doesn't know I'm bringing this up, but I do troll in a good way the Group Sales Success Summit Facebook group. Are you in that? I want to make sure all my boot campers are in there because I love seeing some of the questions that are asked. And somebody, Leslie, had asked, hey, she's doing something with a photography group. And they need to have private meetings on a river cruise. Any suggestions? Because indeed, if you've been on a river cruise, friends, and if you've had this scenario, would you type in what you did? So I'm going to read it next. But having been on 3 river cruises myself, I know that space is tight. It's real tough. These ships are magnificently beautiful, boutique. They don't have a big ballroom. Right? So to do a private event is tough. And I know you had mentioned, Leslie had mentioned in her post that, well, what about a ship like the Ama Magna, the super big ship? Well, it doesn't have to be the Ama Magna. So something you can do is, here's just some ideas for you, for everybody. If you have a challenge of space, especially on a river cruise ship, on the Amur Waterway ships, they have that chef's table restaurant, right? And now there's no doubt they're going to be setting it, getting ready for dinner. It's only used at dinner. And perhaps, because I did this once, I did a presentation in that back room because I was a guest of Christine Karst on Amur Waterways. It was my very, very first cruise. And I agreed to do a presentation to the agents who happened to have been on board. And we did it in the chef's table. So there's an easy first option that I think most of their ships have. Okay, and if the timing is right, you can get in there and you can do your stuff. The other thing is you might be able to use the lounge when everyone else, when it's in port, everyone else is out. That's not a perfect solution because they can't really restrict it and people could be coming and going, and you run the risk of people saying, I don't want to be stuck in here, I want to be out there. So if that's the case, my suggestion is why not find space, work with AMA or your cruise line and say, listen, in this port, we need to have a lecture. Do you have any ideas? Because listen, this is what they do all day long. I know when I planned out my river cruise group, Amazing River Cruise, April 2017 on Ama Christina, I asked that same question. I want to do a private luncheon, and they gave me some great ideas. They may not book it for you, but they give you good ideas. So maybe you can find an area and look, it may cost you a couple bucks. I don't know. But sometimes you need to do those things to have a fun venue. So people will be, oh, cool, we'll get to go here and we get to see this museum. We get to see this restaurant. We get to see this shop and we can have our lecture there. Okay. The other option is up on deck. I think it's kind of easier if you portion off some space up on deck because there's chairs up there. And I know you can't say, oh, no, you can't be here. Well, what would be so bad if somebody was walking along and they listen and they come up after and they get your card? Say, wow, what's going on here? Well, this is this is a private group. We're doing photography lessons. Really? I'm into photography. Can I have your card? When's the next one? You never know. Do it up on deck. I know that Kimberly and I, we led a yoga class up on deck. It was gorgeous, magnificent. And it was in April. The weather happened to have been perfect that day. And we did yoga up on deck. And it was great fun. So those are the first things that come to mind because it is limited, but you can get creative. You absolutely can. And if, on a big ship, it still isn't so easy, friends, because a big ship space is also a commodity. And they could change rooms on you like this. In fact, I have 2 gigs coming up on 2 different cruise ships. And in this case, one of them, there's a workshop. I have done workshops in piano bars, in the weirdest places, in the back corner of the restaurant. You do what you got to do, and you make the best of it. All right. All right. Let me just say we've got 9 minutes left. I got more stuff here. Don't go anywhere. And if you have anything you want to talk about, bring it up here. By the way, I do have a brand new recording of group launch sequence. So Judith and everybody, you're going to like this. I performed, if you will. I presented group launch sequence live. I recorded it, and I felt the more I do it, the better I get at it. And I've incorporated into it answers to many of the questions that you've asked. So I'm going to re-release group launch sequence in boot camp, friends, so that you re-watch it, and I think I'll be able to connect the dots and fill in the blanks even better for you. Does that make sense? I hope you like that. Okay. Let me think here. There's a social wellness tips. Okay. All right. I want to make note about more things for you to do to build business. I made a list here because I didn't want the slides to take up too much time at the beginning. So I'm going to keep checking for questions. Here we go. Judith is here, excited to see the relaunch. Your content is always on point, and watching you always makes me smile. Thank you. I appreciate it, including these wacky sideburns and all, right? Thank you. So I want to take it to the next level because I have a few minutes. I don't see any other questions here. So stay tuned because this is important if you're not already doing this. So in the first 2 slides, friends, what you need to be doing now to ensure a healthy 2020, that your business doesn't shrink if the rest of the business shrinks. It's a market share game. Yes, number 1, you want to eliminate the risk of losing business you already have on the books. And there's a chance of increasing it, right? Supersizing, right? Adding if you still can have space. And number 2 is in the planning stage. I don't have to tell you this. They're hot to trot, make it happen, take control, be the leader, and commit to that campaign. And the third thing, the third most opportunistic, listen to me, pay attention, don't go anywhere. You're here for the hour. I've got you. We're together. Not only the most highest opportunistic, but also the highest at risk for you to lose, and it'll be so sad, are the people who have traveled. They're back from their trip, whether it's their 11th trip with you or their first trip. Every single person in that group. Do me a favor, don't call them clients. These are your, let me hear it, unclients. Unclients. Unclient means they were once a client and now they're not because there's nothing happening. They don't have any money into you. They don't owe you anything more because they paid you. Read my loyalty book, you'll understand that. By the way, I just launched a whole new series with Travel Research Online, and it's called Motivationally Speaking. My friend Richard Earls has given me a column, a weekly column, and I'm going to kick off focusing on loyalty, which is my book, and it's going to help me see everything I do is scalable, expand on it, really dive even deeper into the concept of loyalty and things you can do, practical steps, right? You can't expect it, you have to earn it, and it's never guaranteed. So friends, so I'm going to leave you with this thought. The third thing to do to build your 2020 business, you immediately got to go to your unclients, people who have traveled, they're back, and there's nothing happening right now. And I want you to reach out and touch them. Send them a postcard. What have you done? Where have you been? It could be as simple, and email is just so used and abused, friends. Do something different. Send them a little video, or send them a card, a letter, a handwritten. I keep these, my handwritten letters are right here. The only thing, I just have a little bit printed here, but otherwise I handwrite these, I fold them, and I have fun stamps. I have fun stamps so I can customize and personalize, and I handwrite it. Even though my handwriting is lousy, I do the best I can. Where's the last trip you were on? Have you shared details? I mean, we just heard the amazing story of Sam. She sent out cards to people saying, hey, I got this. I'm certified now. That's it. It was like a press release. It was a good news story, and she's got business coming in. So if you haven't gotten a new certification recently, by the way, if you need CEU credits, remember, boot camp is now CEU approved by the Travel Institute. Happy to hook you up. Let them know about the last trip you were on, the 3 things you did that you never do you could, the 3 things you learned that you'd never do again here, whatever it is. Or maybe you've got a big trip coming up. Send the word. Say, hey, listen, I'm heading out on a trip with my spouse, my wife, my husband, whatever. And we're looking forward to this. Have you ever been? Let me know. And I can't wait. I'm going to share details. Stay tuned. There's so much going on in your world you can share in a reach out campaign. And I'm going to save this for boot camp because I'm developing this right now, but I have a really great idea to do a survey. Remember what I said when we started the program? I said there may be some people who have already decided they're not going to be traveling in 2020. And we need to focus on the people who are rather than the people who are not, because it's going to be real hard to convince them, although you're in the right business with groups, right? Because maybe somebody who said we're not going to 2020 sees a really great affinity group. They're like, oh man, we gotta go. So you're in the right line of work. You're in the right business, right off the bat. But you want to find out, ask them without obligating them. Remember, we talk about this in the survey, which is the group launch sequence. The survey, you can't ask a question that obligates people so that they think they're committing to something, right? Because I don't answer surveys like that because then I know I'm marked. So you have to do it the same tender loving care for your unclients as you would when you get an email. You're like, I'm not going to answer this because if I do, oh my gosh, what about a new list? But just take a poll, a 1-question poll. And I do know what question I want you to ask. I'm not going to share it right now. I'm going to share it in boot camp so I don't have it in front of me. I want it to be precise. I think this is the winner. It's a 1-question poll to ascertain if your unclients are planning to travel in 2020. And this is one of 3 responses. So it's a 1-question poll, and they can only answer one way. And you'll know right off the bat if they say yay or nay, where to put your efforts, where to focus your marketing and your phone call and your outreach campaigns. But we're going to continue this. If you will like me starting off with a couple slides, I am delighted to. Should we end like that or start like that? Give me feedback. Let me know. So we are down to 60 seconds. Let me just check the board, see if there's anything else. Nope, there's nothing else here. All right. So we have less than 60 seconds, and I'm going to do a countdown to dismiss you if we're good to go. Don't hang on. Don't click off just yet. Don't click off. It could be something else coming. So Kyle says start off with the slides, please. You got it. You got it. Because I get it. In the power hour, you're here. You don't know what's coming. Is this power hour going to resonate with me or not? I hope it does, because you never know where we're going to go. But at least you know in the first 10, 15 minutes or so, I'm going to come in with some edumacation stuff. Edumacation. Kay says she likes the slides too. Cool beans. All right, I think we're going to do it. Thank you for being here. I'm Stuart, the boot camp guy. And we'll see you next time.